My name is Jessica Hiemstra, and I'm an artist. I make things, really. That's sort of how I think about myself. No, I really love this. So I had pages from Scandinavian folktales as my inspiration for the Eric and Eloise story. And I didn't have the story that I wanted to create, what it was that I needed to create. And so I wrote it. I just sat down and thought, what do I want to illustrate? What do I want it to be? How do I bring the wonder that I feel about the holidays and about friendship and about the mystery inside of it and these Scandinavian folktales? How do I bring that all together and create something out of it? There's something slightly odd, something a little bit askew about it, and yet a gentleness that fit with it. So Eric is still a hare. And then suddenly he's in this odd suit with antlers, and somehow it sort of makes sense, and I'm not quite sure how. But in the folktales it did, so I figured I could run with it. So the first thing that happened is we said, okay, we want to make this come to life. What does it look like to make this story come to life in three-dimensional objects? I mean, if you make a rabbit this big, it's frightening. If you make it this big, it's approachable. You know when you don't know that you have expectations, and then you realize you did, and they're just all turned to dust. I just feel like I walked into a factory in China and saw a long table, and we were on the 3rd floor, I think, and there were windows behind the table, and sitting on the table were all of the things that I'd drawn turned into real objects. So Eric and Eloise were sitting there on skis and with their antlers with a beautiful backdrop behind them. And it was overwhelming. It was a pretty extraordinary thing to see that waiting. So after China, we flew to Nepal to the Women's Cooperative to see what they'd done with the Eric and Eloise designs. First and foremost, I was so struck by was all of these people who their lives are changed by making these things. That's such a powerful thing to be a part of, to be an artist who makes a design and then have women making these designs and putting themselves through college and feeding their children and not just surviving but thriving. And when we think about what it is to help somebody, I think that being a part of something where everybody has their autonomy is so beautiful. That this is me doing my job and these women doing their job, and what happens is we all get something wonderful out of that, and that gives me hope for the future. That's to me what commerce is, and that's beautiful, and that's what it should be. If I think, is there anything I'm disappointed by? No. I feel like some things don't work, and that's part of art. That's part of life. So where do we go from here? I don't know exactly where we go from here. I think we go back to saying, what do we do that feels like this story and that is full of wonder? And hopefully it's something new again. And I'm going to be surprised by where we go from here too. But not too surprised.